Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jared here with another video reviewing two new songs by Guns N' Roses. I'm talking about Nothin and Atlas. Now, I just wanted to preface this review by saying it's not going to be a full-blown review just because the songs literally came out today, so they're extremely fresh in my mind, and I've only listened to them a few times each. So of course I'm gonna have more thoughts and opinions on them as time goes on. So I might do a part 2 to this video at some point, kind of like I did with the General a few years ago. But I definitely wanted to give you my first impressions. Now, I also wanted to preface this review by saying I wasn't sure if I was going to do separate videos or just do it in the same video. And I think it would just be best to do it in the same video since they were released together. And I wanted to preface this video by saying this is a brand new phone, first time using the front face camera, so excited to see that. And I wanted to fucking preface this video by saying these songs were leaked, well, the demos or the rough mixes or whatever, about 6 years ago with the Locker leaks, and these songs were done during the Chinese Democracy sessions. I'm talking like the late 90s, early 2000s with Axl and a bunch of different artists. And it's very similar to how they're doing all these new songs over the last few years, where basically Slash and Duff are kind of just going in there and putting their own spin on it and, releasing it as these like Frankenstein songs. And I've seen people call it that. So, it's another one of those. So earlier this year they were touring overseas and they sound checked these songs without Axl, as far as we know, and people were really thinking that it was going to be that they were going to be released during this tour or played during this tour. And even on the Yokohama show, Axl talked about these songs and that he would play the new songs if they had a marketing plan in place, and that he's still waiting for a marketing plan. And if you know anything about Guns N' Roses, everything is dependent upon Axl. So, these songs weren't played because of Axl. I know some people will probably disagree, but I'm a diehard Guns N' Roses fan, and everything is dependent upon Axl. But yeah, these songs were never played during that tour. They were shown on the set list, like on the alternate songs, but never got played. And then they did a few more shows later in the year and still never played it. And then they just recently came out with a tour list like for next year, talking about all the shows they're going to do next year. And they were like, new singles, Nothin and Atlas, coming out on December 2nd. So that's the marketing plan. They're going to be promoting these two new songs next year on their tour and playing the new songs, which I think is a little bit weird because, like, as of right now, none of the concerts for next year are going to happen until like, many months in. So it would be more understandable if it's like, okay, they're going to release these songs and they're going to be playing in a few weeks or something, but it's going to be months from now. Like, I think a lot of people are going to forget about these songs by then. Obviously not me and diehard Guns N' Roses fans, but a lot, the casual fans probably don't even give a shit about this stuff. But it is also comical that they're kind of, marketing these songs with the whole tour. It's just two new songs. It's a drip feed. That's how Guns N' Roses works. So the last few songs that they've released were released right at midnight, and I was waiting there at midnight on Tuesday, December 2nd, and nothing happened. No pun intended. And just kept refreshing, and there was nothing. Nothing was released. And I keep having to rephrase my wording on this because the song is called Nothin, so I keep having to tell people nothing, like, there hasn't been anything released yet. So within minutes I realized, I was like, oh, the Guns N' Roses is kicking in. I thought leading up to it there might be a delay, but they never said anything. So I was pretty confident that at midnight it was going to be released, but next thing you know, they just weren't released. And I waited the whole day along with all the other Guns N' Roses fans, and there was nothing. And you know what I mean. So there was no official statement, there wasn't an apology, there was no communication. It gets to the point where I start to wonder, like, are they doing this shit on purpose to like build the hype, or is it just like a complete lack of competence? Is it just Axel pulling the plug at the last minute because he's pissed off about something, or something isn't exactly perfect? Who the fuck knows? There was never any communication about what the deal is with these as of right now. So here we are on Thursday, December 4th. I wake up and I pull out my phone and I see the songs were finally released. No clue why it took a couple extra days, but happy they finally got released. And I went on Apple Music, and according to Apple Music, Atlas was released yesterday, and then Nothin was released today, December 4th. But from what I could see, both of the songs were dropped today. So I want to start with Nothin. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to start with because I wasn't sure which song fans were more excited for, because if you would have asked me a few years ago, I would have definitely said Atlas. But now Nothin is like the newer song, so I think a lot of people are more interested in that. But I'm just gonna start with Nothin, and that's the way I listen to these two songs first. I listen to Nothin, and then I listen to Atlas. So Nothin, I wanted to mention, Nothin used to be called Nothing, but they had to Guns N' Roses it up and put Nothin with a little apostrophe at the end. And it's just, you know, it's just funny. They like to change shit just for the sake of changing shit. So I just thought that was a little humorous. The artwork, very interesting artwork. It shows a little boy in front of I believe this is a Mustang. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure this is an old Mustang from back in the day. Don't know who the little kid is. Very curious who it is. I actually wondered if it was Slash and maybe this is an old picture or something. But he's kind of just like fiddling around with his fingers, and it looks like he's giving the finger. And then the front license plate of the car says Guns N' Roses Nothin'. And I just think it's very interesting. I'm very curious to go in and find more information about this later on, but I like the artwork. I do like it. So Nothin', let's get into the song here. I know it's been 8 minutes, but I do think the other stuff is necessary to talk about. So this song really is very prominent with the keyboards. I've reviewed the demo or the rough mix before, and they've kept those keyboards, and I'm really glad, because I think that instrument really drives this song, and it's very memorable. It almost reminds me of like some shit Teddy Zigzag would have been doing back in the day in the 90s, like just that tone of the keyboard and everything. It almost has like a reggae vibe, if that makes sense. And that kind of leads me to my next thing. I think this song really reminds me of like almost like a Knocking on Heaven's Door, or even on Slash's first solo album, he did a song with Kid Rock called I Hold On. I really like that song, and that's another song that this reminds me of. It's like a power ballad, and very emotional lyrics about love, and yeah, I like it. I do really like it. When I heard the rough mix years ago, I couldn't even get through the whole thing because I was just like, this is like literally nothing. Like, I couldn't even finish it. But it's crazy how, like, as time goes on and I've listened to that rough mix more and more, I've grown to like it. And I think they did a good job on this song. And I think the production on this song, and I'm gonna talk about Atlas a little bit later, of course, but I think the production on both of these songs is the best production that they've had on any of these new songs that have come out over the last few years, whether it be Absurd, Hard School, perhaps The General. I think I don't really have a problem with any of the production on either of these songs. I think they finally did a good job on it, and there's not like dumb shit that's happening that's just like so obvious, and it's just like, oh my god, like I could have fixed that in video editor or whatever, audio editor. But yeah, good production. One thing I'm happy about with this song, I mentioned The General a couple seconds ago. With Nothin', there's a lot more added lyrics, and it's not just like, you know, verse, chorus, and just like repeating the same lines and repeating the same exact take. That's a problem that the general has, in my opinion. And I like how there's just many more lyrics in this, and there's more takes. Like, it's not like we're hearing the same exact sounding vocals on the chorus every time. So that's cool. But yeah, the main thing that I took away from this song, and my girlfriend, we listened to it together, she had the same exact thought. This sounds very, very classic Guns N' Roses. And I also made the connection immediately too. I'm like, that's probably why they had a classic car as the artwork, just because it sounds like a, you know, a classic Guns N' Roses song. But yeah, I like it. I think Slash plays well on it. It really sounds like a Slash kind of song. Axl's vocals sound good. Definitely can hear a little bit of auto-tune in there. I know I mentioned auto-tune a lot, but I definitely think you can hear that. And it's fine. It doesn't like ruin the song or anything, but you can just tell like a little bit of the stuff is a little bit spiced up. But yeah, just really cool and really surreal to just like finally hear the final version of Nothin. So that's Nothin. Let's move on to Atlas. So this song used to be called Atlas Shrugged. Once again, just changing shit for the sake of changing it. If I want to be a little bit nitpicky, I kind of wish they kept it as Atlas Shrugged. I don't know, not a big deal or anything, but it's called Atlas now. The artwork, I don't really like it as much as I do the Nothin artwork. As you can see, it has just some dirty ass hands next to GNR Atlas. I do like the colors though, kind of like black and white and red. You know, those are some of my favorite colors. So that's the Atlas artwork, as you can see. So Atlas is one that I really liked from the locker leaks, and a lot of the times when it comes to these locker leaks, I always get a little nervous that like, okay, once Slash and Duff go on it, I hope they don't just like completely change the whole song and like it doesn't sound as good as like, you know, the demo and the rough mix did back then. And one thing that I'm happy about with this song, I think the song structure, they really kept intact. They kept it the same. Like there's really not a lot of like variations or differences as far as the song structure goes compared to the song back in the day, which I do find a little bit humorous, just because like I remember back in the day on, you know, on those Atlas demos, a lot of people had issues with the transitions, and I understand why. Eventually it got to the point where I didn't really care about how the transition sounded. It didn't really bother me. But on this version, I think the transitions are pretty much the same. Like they're not like massively different where it's like, okay, you can tell they knew that was an issue and they're going to completely revamp it. Like I think it's pretty much the same. The vocals are the same for the most part. Same thing with Nothin. I think like on Nothin though, like the vocals do sound a little bit different than the demo, but on Atlas they sound pretty much identical to the demo. The thing about Atlas is definitely more like up tempo, more of a rocker, not like hard rock, not like a hard school or anything like that, but it's more up tempo than Nothin for sure. And I think the song is very prominent with the bass. Like they have Duff's bass really high in the mix, I've noticed. Like shit, the first thing you hear if you really pay attention, that when you hit play on the song, you just hear a bass note immediately, and then they bust into the song. But yeah, they kept a lot of things the same, and with just some just little things in the background that are different. Like they have this new little thing where it's like in the background, and also they got rid of during the solo in the background. This is something I liked about the demo. There was a little guitar note in the background of the demo that was like and they got rid of that in this version, so whatever, not a huge deal or anything. But yeah, I think it's good. I like it. I enjoy it. Once again, just glad that they kept it the same for the most part. It is a little bit weird though, because like on this one it sounds like the vocals are exactly the same, but like all the music has been completely re-recorded. So it does sound different in that regard, but it pretty much sounds like they're playing what was played in the demo back in the day by the other musicians. So out of the two songs, which one do I prefer? This just really depends on like where you're at, where your mindset is, and you know, all that stuff. So as of right this second, I prefer Nothin. But once again, like, I've heard Atlas, the demo, a lot more times. Nothin is fresher, and I think that definitely plays a role. I mean, a year or two from now, I could be like, oh, I'm sick of Nothin. Like, I love Atlas way more than that now. But as of right now, I definitely prefer Nothin. And yeah, glad they finally released these songs. I don't know if we'll ever get any information why they didn't come out on the second. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure who exactly is on these songs besides Axel, Slash, and Duff, and I assume Dizzy. I don't know if Isaac Carpenter is doing the drums on these songs. That'd be pretty cool, but he is relatively new. It could be Brain. I know Brain has done the drums on some of these songs, some of these newer songs, but yeah, they finally released them. So how many songs have they released at this point? They did Absurd, Hard School, Perhaps, The General, and then they did these two. So that's 6 songs, and I think if you put that in a playlist, that's like, I think it's in the 20 to 30 minute range. So it's like they're inching closer and closer to like almost an album's worth of material. And yeah, eventually, hopefully, we'll get Monsters. That was a really stupid joke. But that's another song that they've done with Slash and Duff that they haven't released yet. And hopefully it'll get released at some point. We'll see. But that's it, man. Atlas and Nothin are out. Tell me what you thought of the songs. Which one do you prefer? If you want to vent about your frustrations with Guns N' Roses and their possible incompetence, or maybe they do it on purpose to build the hype, just, you know, the nonsense with the delaying the songs. What did you think of that? What do you think of the artwork? You know, I'm very, very interested in people's feedback in this stuff, and I try to respond to every single comment, especially in videos like this. I'm a diehard Guns N' Roses fan, man, and like, I don't take these moments for granted. They're not going to be around forever, so I really just try to savor it as much as I can, man. So yeah, let me know what you think. Please like the video, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you all today. Hope you enjoyed. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.